Hey guys, it's Mel. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here in the warehouse. I've just picked and packed all my orders, dropped them at the post office, and now I'm ready to get stuck into doing some batch photography. So if you heard my video the other day, what I'm trying to do now in my business in the beginning of the month is do a really large batch photography day and then a really large batch listing day. I'm going to schedule my listings out 10 listings a day over the month. And the aim is in one big listing session, one whole day, to get enough listings scheduled that I don't then have to do any listings for the rest of the month. I do know that I've got books everywhere piled up here waiting for me to photograph. I've cleared multiple shelves, so I've got lots of new shelf space ready to just take the photos and restock new shelves. It's not like I have to go around and waste time finding shelves. I've already prepped for that. It's just a matter of getting stuck in pile by pile by pile and working on my photography. Right, now let me show you my photography process. First up, let's note I have a padded mat here so that my feet aren't standing for too long on the hard concrete. We don't want to, we want to look after our bodies, so we should have these padded mats. Rubber mats on the ground. I've got one also at my photography station. Wherever I stand for a long amount of time, I want to have a rubber mat, and everybody should do that. Okay, so I'm working from the right side to the left. So basically this is the pile of books that I'm working on now. Yes, I've got other ones here, but this is the stack I'm doing. I take the book that's on top and I put it here and I start to photograph. Now I'm going to photograph both front and back of this book. So I've got front and back. I'm going to photograph all the four sides down low like this so you can see it. I'm going to take a photo of all four sides because you want to be able to see the corners so that nobody can say that there's not a photo if the corner's tatty or something. Now, if it's an illustrated book like this, I am going to take a few random photos of inside the book just so they can see that it's got colour illustrations. I will also try and always open up the book and take a photo. It's hard to hold the camera guys and do it. I will take a photo of the front title page just so they can see that there's no pen inside it, and then I will generally always try and take a photo of the page that's got the copyright details for this book. I think it's at the back. So especially this is very important on a lot of the fiction novels where people want first editions, but some of the old vintage books as well, people really want to see those copyright details. I don't find it's as necessary on these brand new kind of books, but on the older books, definitely 100%. Now, when I'm doing my photos, when I'm listing my books in eBay, I always list my books as either good or acceptable. I like to kind of downgrade the books a little bit. It just means that I have less problems, less returns, less issues with people about the quality of the books if I downgrade them. That way I'm always exceeding expectations, which I would prefer. But if I have a book that is rated only like acceptable, then what I do is I have a little post-it note that just sticks up here. And after I take the last photo of the book, I come up and take a photo of the word acceptable. And that way when I'm doing my eBay listing over at the computer and I'm putting in and I have to grade the condition of the book, then I can remember that that book was acceptable. And then all my other books are rated as good. Now, if I need to take that photo, I take that photo. Most of them I don't. Most of them are rated good and above. Then I take a photo of this. This post-it note just sits down here and I just snap a photo like this after I've photographed the book. This is telling me the shelf that the book is on. So when I do my listing in eBay, there is a section on the eBay listing of eBay that has the SKU. Now the SKU is where the item is located, whether or not you're a clothing seller, book seller, wherever it is. You might use a tub, you might use a shelf. So mine will come up and it will say E3. This book will be on E3. So that's how I know where to find the book when it sells and I have to pick it. So once the photo is done, I then pick up the book and I move the book and I'll sit it on this trolley. And once I have a big stack on this trolley, I'll walk over with as many as I can handle and I'll go and put them around there on the shelf E3. Right, so always be thinking about why we do things. Why do I put the books there, build them up into a stack and then walk them around? Because then I only have to make one trip. Whereas imagine if every time I photographed this book, I had to walk around to that shelf and put it away, then come back and do the next one. That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of steps. Whenever we're doing a process or a system, we need to be moving the least amount of possible steps that we can to be able to go as fast as we can. So like when I'm at my packing station, I'm taking the least amounts of steps possible. Same as here when I'm in my photo station. I want to reach to the right, grab the book, put the book here, reach to the left. It's like a moving rotation, okay? And then it's like one big pile, as many as I can carry, out there, put it away on the shelf, clear space on my trolley, and start again. And that's the least amount of steps. And that is the benefit of clearing like a big shelf and being able to take like a whole lot of books at one stage. When all my shelves are full and I'm looking for gaps, that's where I have to go, right, take a photo of the book, walk around, come over here, put it on the shelf, and then I take a photo of the shelf number which is on the shelf. Oh, some of the shelves have numbers. I know the shelves. But all of the shelves should have numbers so that I can take a photo. But generally I've got enough shelves that even if I can only do 5 or 6, I'll use the post-it note and put as many books as I can on each particular shelf. I try not to be just doing one book at a time on individual shelves. Occasionally, if I've got like a supersized book, I might need to find a specific shelf for that. All the bundles, I might have to go and find specific shelves for that. But individual books, I'm always trying to do groups of it on the same shelf at the same time to keep the process as short and quick as possible. Like, we don't want to be spending any extra time doing these processes. We need to make our processes snappy, fast as can we. We got better stuff to do in our day. Okay, so now that everything is set up, you have to make sure everything is set up and ready to go so that as soon as you get into the mode of photography, you don't stop. You just need it to go and go and go. You put your music on and your flow just happens. If you don't set yourself up, you're setting yourself up to fail, right? Plan things out. Like, I've planned it out. I've got all those books on that table. They're ready to go. So as soon as the stack that's here next to my photo station runs low and these ones are gone, I can grab another stack from there and move it there. I definitely don't want to be going over here. Oh, yep, time to photograph this book. Bring it back, photograph here, meanwhile nearly tripping on the trolley and all the books that are on the ground. No, I need to have a whole pile of them there ready to go. Okay, ready to go. I've waffled again. Story of my life. I'm trying to get you guys all as fast as you can with your reselling business. And guys, it doesn't matter. I'm not here necessarily just trying to teach you all how to do books. That's not my aim of this channel. I've got lots of resellers who follow me. They couldn't care less about books. What I like to talk about is systems and processes. And you need to find systems and processes, whether or not you sell books or clothing or shoes or glass bottles or whatever the heck it is that you sell. You need to have systems and processes to speed everything up so that you can do the least amount of hours a day and have more time for your family and your kids and the fun stuff and hobbies and anything else that you want to try. Let's photo. Now, I will just say before I start, what I've done, because I've got so much photography here and these boards are getting very dirty. So I actually went to the store and I bought some new board. And I'm going to start off with some nice, fresh, clean boards. So if you don't know what this stuff is, you get it from your hardware store. It's called core flute, otherwise known as corrugated plastic. All right, so it's very thin. I just get it at Bunnings here in Australia. Costs about $6 for a sheet. Lasts me several months. You just wipe them down with, I normally wipe them down with baby wipes and then a cloth, but they just give this one a, and now I've got a fresh, clean board. And after a while, I will need to give this a wipe down. Some of the books, especially the older ones, they do get quite dusty underneath, and it does make this quite dirty. So anyway, I am ready to start. Where is my camera? Oh my goodness, I'm filming on it. I need my other camera. Okay, let's see how I go. I've got two phones, one that I video with and one that I just use on a daily basis. This phone doesn't have as much storage in it. So normally when I'm doing a a bulk photo session, it tends to run out. But we'll see how we go, so I can film a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Now, I will just let you know, on the iPhone setting here, I use this setting that's called Vivid. That's the normal one. That's the Vivid one. It just slightly pops it a little bit without making it look too fake. The other thing is, I normally have my exposure up to about 0.7, but that, just because I do that doesn't mean you need to do that, because it's going to depend on what your lighting situation is. For my lighting situation here, I work off that one ring light. That ring light is a 19-inch ring light. And for the light that is above me and around in this warehouse, I just tap my exposure up to 0.7. So basically, exposure's up, my setting is on Vivid, and the setting here is on 1.1, which is a square photo, because eBay likes a square photo. So it's much better to take your photo in a square format. It looks consistent across your eBay page, and that is the preference by eBay and Google, to have a photo that's taken to the ratio of 1.1 or square. Okay, so now that I'm all set up, I'm just ready to take my photos. Now, I will just say as well, get all this out while I'm doing it. Occasionally, I will get a light glow from the ring light. It depends on the cover of the book and how shiny it is. Basically, to do that, sometimes you'll see me, I just move the ring light back a little bit until it's in a position where I don't see that glow. Nothing worse than seeing the big ring light in the book. No, you should be positioning your camera, whether or not sometimes you have to move it back, forward, sometimes move the book to the side. It doesn't take very much, but that first photo of the book is very important. That is what's going to sell your book, right? So don't have it so that it's crooked. Don't have it so that you've got heaps of white space. Don't take the photo up here, right? I'll just take this photo up here to show you, right? And then I'll just take this photo. Right, let's bring it here. Okay, that photo is no good. Can you see all the white dead space around it? Well, I'm not trying to sell the whiteboard, I'm trying to sell the book. Go to this one and I've come in. I haven't had to zoom or anything, I've just moved myself closer to the book. Now I can see that entire book, right? Don't put photos up that are like this. Don't put books that are crooked. You know, really get a good photo. Don't have the ring light shining in it so you can't see it either. Try your best for that front cover photo to make it look nice. Okay, so I always do it in the same order, and it doesn't really matter. It's just what you get into the flow. This is the flow, right? I can see a little bit of a ring light here down the bottom there, and I'll show you what I mean. But I'm not worried about this. See that on the bottom near the barcode? There's a little bit of a ring light there. I'm not too worried about that because it's not the main photo. Okay? Then we come down here. Now you'll notice that I like to get down low, guys. Right? I don't like, here's the difference, right? Let me show you. You got to squat, you got to bend, guys. Right. There's this photo, right? I'm trying to show the spine here. There's that photo. Do you see what I mean? That photo or the spine? All I want to see is the spine, and I want to be able to see the edges as well. So when I do this, if I take a photo like this of the edge, or I take a photo like this of the edge, right? Come here. Right, there's the edge. Is that the edge? No, that would be somebody's cover photo. There's the edge. Right? You need to show the edges of the paper so that they can see. What color is this? Is it white or is it like brown? Does it have, some of them have pen on them, some of them have stains on them, some of them have turned up corners here, some of them have little rips. The closer you get down and you show what your thing is, then the better your photos will be. And you can just go fast, you don't need to think. These photos in here, if I take a couple photos, it's just random to show, you know, what the pages look like. Are they colour? Are they black and white? Do people need to know that? Like, that is that. So then this book is done. That is good. Take the photo here of my E3. Put the book here. See, I'm not taking many steps. This book here. Right, next one. Come in front. We flip it over, back. Normally I'll take these photos inside because while I've got it in that direction, I'll do the inside photos and then I will do these ones last generally. Make sure you get your hand out of the way. E3, that way I know. Also, if I'm starting a brand new shelf, when I'm photographing, I'm looking to put big books at the bottom of the shelf. I don't want to be putting little books down first and then big books on top. So basically, the reason why I've got this stack over here now is these books are all big. So you shouldn't be overthinking it. Go fast. You've got to keep moving like this. So you're straight on for your photos. A few random photos. And I don't take that, I take these kind of on an angle deliberately. I don't want it to look like they're necessarily straight on those ones. I'm trying to show a bit of both pages. Right? Sides. If there's a particular flaw, like if one of these corners was really bad, I might come in and take the corner photo there. Right? But if they're all just stock standard, it's a bit harder with gloves. I do find it harder with gloves, but it is cold in here at the moment, and I do get cold hands when I'm doing a lot of batch photography. Now, I'll tell you a little trick I do when I'm doing cookbooks. This is not a cookbook, but when I'm opening up the pages, I'm flipping through those cookbooks, I'm looking for the tastiest recipes that I can possibly photograph, so that if someone looks at my listing, they're going to go, oh, look at that cheesy, delicious, home-cooked meal that makes me just feel like it's a comfort meal and I want to eat that up. And also, I don't look for the recipes. If something looks really hard in a cookbook, I don't want to show that photo, because unless it's a cookbook that's specifically for, you know, very hard looking recipes that you need to almost be a professional chef to cook, you know, I don't want to see that. I'm not, you know, if I'm looking for a cookbook, I want things that are nice and easy. I don't want those recipe cookbooks that look like you have to be a professional cook to make them. So I'm trying to show the nice, easy cookbook recipes, or the nice, you know, the ones that are really chocolatey and look mouth-watering. If it's a biscuit book, I'll try and show like the old-fashioned type biscuits, Monte Carlos or shortbreads, or something that everybody wants a recipe for. Good chocolate chip cookie. I don't want to show something like, I'm not going to open it up necessarily and show the recipe that's all the profiteroles that looks like you need 10 hours to cook it. And if I'm looking through a book, I'll be looking for the nice cheesy lasagna or the roast lamb or something that looks like mouth-watering delicious. Like, you want to do it. Right, so this book is an older book, vintage, quite tatty looking. It's covered in thing. Now I do want to try and find the copyright details for this book because it's so old. And down here. Right. Now when I do the side here, I'll take a couple of extra photos down here because it is a bit tatty. And I'll take the acceptable up here and then the shelf number. Now, some of them, like this, right? See how it's got a pencil mark inside it? I don't want to photograph the pencil mark because I erase that when I sell the book, right? But this has got a sticker in it. So I do want to take a photo of the sticker, but I don't want to spend time erasing that. So what I do is I just position the photo so it's cut off. It's cut off what that the price up there, the $1.50 was. And it just says, now it just shows the sticker. Now, if it's got pen inside it, theoretically, by eBay standards, you need to rank the book. You need to grade the book as acceptable. Because if you go to the eBay grading page and look at what a book is, what each of the gradings covers, good, very good, acceptable, any book that has pen inside it is deemed as acceptable. So if there is a name in the front, even if the book is in excellent condition, it sucks, but to cover yourself from an item not as described, that book should be deemed as acceptable. I just sold something, guys. What is it? It's popping up on my screen. 6 James Patterson books. A bundle probably around the $50 mark. Now see, this stack is getting quite high. I'm loading up the trolley with weight here. Some of these newer cookbooks, I don't worry about doing the copyright page. I find people aren't buying them looking so much for like special editions. Like this one though, this is an old cookbook, and I will definitely try and find the copyright. Most of them are just here on the first page, just come in. Okay, this book, right? This is going to be deemed acceptable. See how the dust jacket, even though the book's probably in pretty good condition, I'm still going to deem that as acceptable. And yes, books that are tatty like that, they will still sell. These are still sought after books. And because they're, like, you can't get these new. Like this one has got text in it as well. Do Lorraine, love and best wishes on your 22nd birthday. Love, Janet and John, 1969. Okay, now you can't get this book new anymore, so you got to get it second hand. So you know if you get a book that is this old, 1960. This is from the 60s. So if you get one that's in really excellent condition, you can price that a little bit higher. But people will still want these. Occasionally, when the dust cover's like this, really broken like this, I will actually take a photo that looks like this. I'll just show you it. So now you can see what the actual cover of the book looks like, and you can see that most of the damage is actually to the dust cover. Okay, again, acceptable. A lot of the time from the photos when I'm doing the listing, I can see that that's acceptable, but this is just like a constant reminder to me to not forget to add that into the listing, because it can be detrimental. Okay. Oh, this one looks like a yummy cookbook. Yum. Baked eggs with tomato and sweet corn sauce. Oh, yum, 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 yum. I want this cookbook. A year full of recipes. That looks delicious. Okay, now this is getting heavy and I'm conscious of the trolley. So I'm going to take these books now around and I'm going to stack them onto that shelf. Okay, bigger books down the bottom. These are all pretty big books. Now, the reason why I'm starting with the middle shelf is I should probably start from the bottom and the way up. But now I'll work my way down and I'll do E4. Obviously the more weight down the bottom stabilizes it, but I hate doing the bottom shelf. And I try and leave the bottom shelf for the bundles so that it's less items on one shelf. Still fill it up, but it'll be less items. So I'm going to put bundles down there, individuals here going up. The way that my shelves work is that I can have two like bigger stacks of the bigger books, and then I can get like, just for example here, like more of a medium-sized one, and I can make a medium-sized stack. So this is another reason, and I'll show you this. So there's books on the table that are all waiting to photograph. I will try and stack them into lots that are similar by size, right? Small ones, kind of small to medium, and then I'll put the big ones in a lot as well. And the reason for that is when I'm doing my shelves, I know that always I've got 2 stacks of big ones at the back and then a medium kind of one in the middle. And then on the front, I put the smaller books because the bigger ones normally stick out longer, so there's less room. So I normally do those smaller size. So if I'm starting to fill that shelf and I know around there that there's the 2 stacks of the big books are done, I'm looking for more books that are around this size then to put like either at the front or in the middle. So then I might do a whole lot of photography on those size books to be able to finish the shelf off. So that's how I do it. So at the moment though, I've got only a few books there left in my pile. So I'm going to grab a few more books around those size there, and I'm going to bring them over and get ready to go. Right, so I probably can do with a couple more big ones, and then the big ones on that shelf will be stacked. So I'm probably more looking for some medium ones now for that particular shelf. So, and then I might start working on another shelf because I've definitely got more bigger books than I've got for the smaller books. And then I could just do the smaller books when I find them and start filling up the fronts of the shelf. So I work on the backs of the shelf and then I work on the fronts of the shelf. So eBay lets you do 24 photos a book or photos per item. That one's got a bit of a, that's better. Just a bit of shine on that one. Now, eBay lets you do 24 photos. And I don't do 24 photos per book. Like, especially on like a fiction book, what am I going to take a photo? Front, back, sides, maybe the copyright page and the inside. Like, it's like 8 photos. The ones that have got, hold on, see this one? See how this one's got a few tabs in it? Right, because there's only 3 of these tabs, I'm just going to pull them out now. But I can tell you that if this had like heaps of tabs in it, I don't want to, you know, get out of my workflow. So what I would normally do is if there was a lot of them like that, or the book was really dirty or something, I might set it aside and then do that at the end, so I'm not interrupting my workflow as such. This is Bill Granger. He passed away. His cookbooks went absolutely crazy when he passed away. I think I sold 27 of his books like within a day or 2 of him passing, and some of his books are still bringing quite good money. People often ask me, do you find money inside your books? And I find recipes, I find bookmarks, I find cards, I find photographs, but strangely I have never found money. I did find one money note that was from another country. Okay, this is one that's giving me a little bit of shine. So you see how I just kind of moved it across a few times? Just gives that, just takes it away from that little part that is catching the light. So I just use the trolley here, but like, obviously everyone's got a different kind of photo setup and what you do, but I would highly recommend that if you don't have like a trolley or something that you can move around, you have like a trestle table or something. You need something to each side of you. I know a lot of the clothing sellers, they have like a tub or a chair or something, and they have everything hanging over it. So they've got it all hanging over there neat, ready to go straight away. The idea is, but you have to put away everything you photograph as soon as you've done it. Anybody who gets into the habit of photographing, putting it in a pile, and then leaving it till the next day, that is one of the worst things that any reseller can do. You need to finish your tasks once you start them. So if you start your photography process, it's not just the photography process, it is photography and put away. Right? You must put your stuff away after you photograph it. It needs to go straight back into its home, so as soon as it's sold, you know exactly where it is. So any resellers who are in that bad habit of photographing, piling it up and going, yep, I'll bag those clothes up and find a tub for them tomorrow, get out of that habit now. It's a bad one. Okay, see this one's got text in it. I'm going to make sure I take some text, photos of that text up there. And this is a good book. Oops. This is a good book, but that text is going to bring it down a grade. Like this book here, I can tell straight away this is only going to be like a $22 book. Nothing huge there. Now, that book just had a sticker on the edge. I will say when I'm photographing, part of the planning process is that I de-sticker the books before they come to this stage. I don't want to be slowed up here by taking down stickers. I don't want to be taking off the stickers when I'm part of this process. I have to keep the flow going. So you need to take the stickers off before you're ready to photograph. So I can see that already the white core flute under the actual spot where most of these books are sitting. Here, it's getting a bit dirty already, right? So before it gets too dirty, what I like to do is kind of clean it up. So what I'll do is I'll finish doing this shelf, then I'll give this core flute a wipe down. Keep it going. It's a real shame with books like this because this is in good condition. There's no, like, it's not scuffed, it's nothing, it's nice, but it's got that big black text in there, Drover. So theoretically that takes that book down to an acceptable condition book. And the worst part about that is that some people search on eBay by condition. I'm just going to give this a wipe now while I've got that out. Okay, so some people are searching by condition on eBay. Okay, I keep losing my train of thought. I needed to clean that book up a little bit. So I used the baby wipe and I've just cleaned this with the baby wipe. I just need to make sure this is like dry with the cloth after the baby wipe, because otherwise if I stick books on it now, it's going to get even dirtier. So just make sure that's fully dry. So yeah, what I'm saying is some people search by eBay, they filter it to search by the books that are by the condition, right? So if somebody just searches, no, I only want to see books that are good or very good or whatever, all the other books that are listed underneath that get missed out in the search. And that's a real shame because, you know, these books are actually good condition and somebody might not care less that that's got a name inside it because the rest of the book is in good condition. But it has to go under acceptable so that you don't risk an item not as described on eBay. And by doing that, you do run the risk that if somebody is filtering your book, then they will miss it. So I don't know how many people filter. Let me know down in the comments, how do you filter on eBay? I normally filter by best match or by price. I don't normally do it by the condition. I'm normally, like, somebody will get that lower probably for me. When a book is graded acceptable, I generally don't get as high price for it unless it's graded as acceptable because it's so vintage that it's just really worn, but it can be really like sought after vintage book and can be worth a lot of money. But on a book like this, like, that's not a high-end book, that's a $19.99 book, but I know that book sells. But that book maybe this time will only get me $17 because it's got the name in it and it's great as acceptable. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing when the book is actually good. And there are so many resellers that do the wrong thing. There are so many resellers that would not grade that book as acceptable. And there's resellers like me who try and follow all the rules and do everything properly. And then that kind of hinders us, I guess. But yeah. I just think like it's disappointing for a buyer when sellers don't meet the standards, I guess. We should all be striving to set the standard with eBay because it keeps people coming back. If we all grade things appropriately, then, you know, buyers end up having trust in us. You know, I don't have feedback where buyers don't have trust in me or trust in the condition. Like most of my comments will say that the book is great, or the book was better than expected, or the book is actually like new. I get a lot of comments saying book is like new. This is an interesting book. It's called Potato Diseases in Australia. So you can see that is fallen out, but I'm still going to keep it there, and I'm just going to take a photo of it so that it shows that that's out. Fungus Diseases of the Potato in Australia. This is a very niche book, obviously. I can't see. When? Oh, 1911. Wow. This is a very niche book, and I suspect this book will sell quite easily, even though it's for a select group of people. Like, not everybody's going to want this book, are they? Potato Diseases. It's a small market of who will want it, but the market that will want this, it'll be an important book for them. So I actually think, I don't know, I haven't priced it, but I think that book will actually bring me some pretty good money when it sells. I'll be interested to see when it comps. Now this book here, lucky I opened it up to a page where it's got text, because quite often when you're flipping you don't see those books with text in it. So I'm going to have to really take a few. I'll take some close-up pictures, and I'm lucky that I even saw that actually. Just happened to open it up to that page. This is not an expensive book, but I will not get as much for that because of that. Some of these books that I'm listing now are pretty average. These are not the high-end books. So what I'm doing now, when I'm trying to list, because I'm trying to list higher quality books into my store. So because I've also cut down my listings to 10 a day, I might try 12 for this month actually. Last month I did 10 a day, I might try for 12 this month, just because I know I've got a lot of books here that need to get up into the store. These books that are lower end, I can see straight away, these are lower end, you know, $19, $20 books. Oh, this book, I'll just stop while I show you. Alan Carr's Easy Way to Lose Weight. Alan Carr does an easy way to stop smoking, and his book is very popular. It's one of the most world-renowned books for how to stop smoking. It's like hypnosis almost. So this is the way to lose weight. So I'm figuring that this book will sell probably very similar to the one that's about stop smoking, because it's based on like a hypnosis kind of method. So that's why I picked up this book. I knew it wouldn't sell for very much, but I'm familiar with him, the author. So basically what I'm doing is when I'm trying to list now, because I'm only doing these like 10 or 12 listings a day, I clearly don't want 10 books going into my store in a day that are only worth $20. That's not what I want. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to schedule it out. Like 10, if I can do 10 books that hit my metrics, they're over the amount that will make me either my minimum or my, this one I took a photo of and I can see the pencil price in it, so I just delete that straight away so I don't accidentally put it in the listing. I'm losing my train. Basically what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to put 10 low-end books into my store for a day's worth of listing. What I'd rather do is put 10 really good book listings in that hit my metrics, meet the amount of minimum profit that I want to make. And then, like, if I'm going to list 12 a day now, maybe that's it. It's 10 really good listings. They have to hit my metrics. They all have to be priced over a certain amount. And then the other 2 can be filling it up with these lower end books that, you know, will sell. They are still in demand. They do help bring activity to my store, but they're not really ideal. Okay, this trolley is getting very full and I suspect my shelf is going to be very full once I've finished this. The Power of Now. This is one of the world's most famous self-help books by Eckhart Tolle. Again, very low end, but because it's like honestly one of the world's most popular self-help books, it'll always be in demand. Got a couple of little Bibles down here. Sometimes what I'll do with these really little ones, because these, you need to keyword these so that they say pocket. So what I sometimes will do is I'll just bring the tape measure out. I normally put it on the inches side because it's just easier to read in a photo. And I'll just sit it there like that. And I'll just take a couple of photos just so you can see that is a smaller than normal Bible. And then what I'll do is the keyword in that Bible title will be whatever the Bible is, but at the end of it, it'll say pocket sized. Because the worst thing you can do is have like this and they think they're getting a Bible that's this size. And well, this is actually a hymn book, not a Bible, but you know, this is kind of like a standard Bible size and you don't want people to get misled. It's the same as when you sell fiction novels. Okay, so I get really frustrated if somebody sells a small fiction novel and then the photo makes it look like it's a large fiction novel. Most people want large fiction novels. A lot of the small fiction comes with like fantasy novels. A lot of them are small, but for generally like crime and thriller, a lot of them are, okay, see this book? See this Bible? It's got a thing. It's still together. I'm still going to sell that now because I've already half photographed it. I've already bought it, right? But I'm going to, this will be priced down to sell. It could be normally like a $30 Bible and then it might sell for $15. I don't care now. I just got to get that moving because that's one of those things that I didn't pick up when I was sourcing. If I'd seen that when I was sourcing, I wouldn't have bought it. Unless it's like a $100 book, I'm not buying that. Now, sometimes these plain black Bibles like this, like when you just take a photo of the front of it, it looks a bit plain. So I might, for the cover photo, I might get it on the angle. I get down low and you can see that it's, I kind of show the spine more than the actual front of the book. There's my trolley that I've been placing all the books on. So you can see that's full. I'm going to take that round to that shelf and I'm really hoping that I haven't done too many for that one shelf. But I'm pretty sure that's fine. So you've got these little books at the front because you can't fit two big ones like this or it sticks out. So that's why I really try and position my shelves neatly, so the little ones, and I do prefer to only have two piles at the front so that I can easily like slide. I can slide it so I can check all the stacks. I only really try and do 3 stacks and 3 stacks if I'm desperate for space. Otherwise I really try and keep it as 2 at the front. I tell you what, these books are heavy. They are heavy. I tell you what, but I love working off fresh shelves like this, where I can just stack them fresh. And then I tell you as well, whenever I sell a book now off this shelf, like I remember, I go, oh, yes, I only just listed that, it was new. These shelves actually hold a lot because that trolley was full, and I've still got room here for another, I don't know, 5 or 6 books. I've still got room here. I can probably, sometimes a good idea is to fill one row and then go that one there. And then I know, okay, I can sit here and go, I'll work on these 2. So I can fill these 2 up higher of smaller books. And this book here is probably going to give me another 4 decent sized big ones. And this one's going to give me 4 to 6 of these kind of smaller ones here. Medium, 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 medium. So that'll probably be enough to go into that medium pile. And then I won't put that big one, that needs to go somewhere else. For the larger ones, we can probably go 1, that's a big one, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. I reckon all of those will fit. Let's bring this over to my pile. Right, now I need some small ones for the thing. Now, I've got less of the small ones here already sorted. I'll be a medium. I could probably, that one, some small, right, so let's do this stash, this stash. Still looks like a lot of books, but I think all of that will fit on that shelf. And then it's time to do another shelf. This is an interesting book. I just picked it up. I haven't price comped this one yet. I took this one by gut feeling. This is Complete Price Guide to Buying Watches, Thousands of Price Changes. Now, it is only a 2012 model, but sometimes reference books like this on unique topics, like there's a lot of money in collecting watches and reselling watches, and you know, if you can't, I don't know how you always find how much these things are worth. You know, you got to do your research, and some of these reference guides, a bit like stamps and watches and coins, they can be worth quite a lot of money. So I bought that one off my gut feeling the other day at the book fair, and I don't know if it's, you know, sometimes when I'm at the book fair, I have to kind of go by my gut a little bit. Like, obviously I'm looking at the prices, but like, you're in this big book fair, there's resellers and people grabbing books. You don't have a whole lot of time to think, and they can be very overwhelming for new resellers And they're very overwhelming if you don't have a good idea of what sells and what doesn't sell, and topics that might be interesting to sell and topics that are just not worth the time. So when I'm in the book fairs, I do experiment a little bit, I would say is the word. And I'm obviously picking books that I know by eye. That's the first thing I do when I go to a book fair. The first scan of the tables is always, have I sold this book before? Do I recognize this book? Do I know this book? And then the next, once I've done like an initial kind of pick off my eye, then I start going around and looking for other books and other topics that take my interest that I haven't seen before, that are surrounding topics that might be interesting or topics that I know sell well. So I've had success in selling books on stamp collecting, coin collecting, and I think watch collecting will be an interesting book to sell. Some of these little books are really hard not to get your fingers in them, and I do take them on an angle. I'm not worried about, the only photos that I want straight are the front, back, and the sides like this. All the photos inside, I don't care if they're on an angle. The main point is I do not want my fingers to be shown, and some of those skinny little books like that one, I definitely don't want my fingers to be shown in a photo. I think there's nothing more than a turn off than seeing a photo that's got fingers in it, especially ugly fingers like mine who've got no nails, fingerless gloves, stickers on them there. They're red at the tips because it's cold. No one wants to see that. Who wants to buy a book? Also, you've got to remember that you want people to buy without the emotion in it. Like, it just needs to be it's a transaction. You don't want it to be an emotion like, oh, that ugly hand has touched my book. You know, that's why we don't take pictures of clothes. You know, you see people, they've got photos that they're selling, clothes that they're selling. They take the photos like lying on their bedroom floor or their bedroom whatever, and they've got junk all around in the photos. You don't want that. You want the person to see the item that they're buying and not be like judging the backgrounds or the surroundings of a photo. You don't want them to be instead of trying to, you see these pictures where they're trying to sell their clothes and they're in their bedroom, right? Messy bedrooms. Messy bedrooms. And you're trying to sell the photo, and instead the person is so zooming in and focusing on what other stuff is in the photo. That's why there's white backgrounds or a grey background. That's why these are encouraged. Plain backgrounds are encouraged. Google likes the white backgrounds as well. It's not so much eBay that likes white, it's Google. eBay doesn't care. You can have whatever colour you like. But you try and find these neutral colours like the greys and the whites, monotone kind of colours. You don't want black, it's too harsh. Grey is really good for picking up the correct white balance in photos as well, so that it displays the colours correctly. That's why a lot of people use grey. It's like when you are a professional photographer, you often have a grey card with you, and if you're doing like a family photo session or a wedding or something, it might just be a piece of card that's grey, and you might get the bride to just hold up the grey card, so then when that photographer is editing the photos, they can get the correct colour off the grey, because the grey is good for colour correction. I don't know, I'm just rambling. If I keep losing my train of thought of what I was talking about. this book has a sticker on it that says $14.99, which is cheaper than what I'm going to charge because I don't list anything for under $19.99, right? So generally I don't take off store prices. I generally only will take off price stickers that come from the actual charity shop. Oh, this book is a pain. It's not as cold today, guys, so I've got a little heater here that blows on me while I do my photography, and I don't even need that on today. I don't feel so cold today. I do have stockings underneath my pants, so I'm double layered. I got socks that go over the pants so that no air comes in, and I've got my steel cap boots that are extremely comfortable, and they're so comfortable to work in, these steel cap boots. I truly thought when I bought steel caps that they would be really uncomfortable around the toe and everything like that, but they're not. And I guess they're designed for tradies and workers to wear every day on a daily basis to work. And, you know, they've got to wear comfortable shoes when you're on your feet all the day. So I've been so surprised at how comfortable the workers' boots are. And I just love that I can wear them outside. They get muddy and dirty. They still kind of semi-look clean. Everything just kind of brushes off the fabric or something. But yeah, they're really, I don't have a problem standing in them all day. They're actually way more comfy to work in all day than my Nikes. And when I wear my Nikes, my ankles get cold. So I think I might even in the summer, but I might even start wearing, if I'm wearing shorts, I might even still keep wearing the work boots while I'm in here because, you know, I do sometimes, not that I've ever had any books that have fallen on my head or fallen on my feet, but some of these books are heavy, and I swear if, like this book here, this is heavy. Like if that fell on my foot, I'd probably break a toe. So it's probably just good workplace safety to, even in the summer, to wear these boots. I keep thinking, there's another reseller in the Technsports group by the name of Hanley. Shout out Hanley if you're listening. You are a boss chick. Now Hanley, I'm going to leave that one. So that sticker, the reason why I'm taking it off is because it's Aldi, and Aldi is obviously known as a cheap brand, and I think that it's going to be a hard one to peel off, so I will put it in front of the heater, because if you get a heat, like a blow dryer or a heater or something, it lifts the sticker and makes it easier to list. So going back to Hanley recently, she sells car parts. She's in the UK, and recently she dropped a very heavy car part on her head, and she ended up with a concussion that really affected her for quite a few days. And it really does make you think, like, we do work in these, whether or not you're in your home garage or a storage unit or a warehouse or wherever you're working from, we work from these high shelves. These are heavy. You know, if this was to fall down on my head, I'd have a concussion. If it was to fall on my toe, I would have a, you know, I would have a broken toe. So it doesn't, when you hear of this happening to other people who you know, you kind of think, yeah, wow, we need to be really careful with our bodies, where we place things. I'm really quite enjoying this, making this video for you guys. I'm just talking to myself, but honestly guys, it feels like I'm just talking to a friend. And I think when I make the videos, that's how I try and talk to you guys, like I'm just talking to my friend. I never try and script anything. I just talk from the heart. And sometimes I know I have people, they'll leave comments and go, you know, you only need to say it once. You've said the same thing over and over, or gee, you waffle. Or I do get some comments like that, and I just shake them off, guys, because that's just me. And if that's not your cup of tea, then I'll presume that you won't watch again. But for everyone else who's watching me, I figure that you know me by now. You know what I'm like. You know that I waffle, and you know sometimes I repeat myself. But, you know, that's partly because I'm not scripting things. I talk from the heart. I talk as if you're my friend. And I just try and tell you what I'm doing along the way in the hope that I spurt out some kind of advice and you come away from my videos, I guess, feeling like you've had a little bit of entertainment from my squirrel brain life, but also that you have learned something and just picked up a little tip here and there, and you pick up one little tip from every single video, then, you know, hopefully it helps you to become a better reseller. You can learn from some of my mistakes, and, you know, hopefully it also reassures you that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I still have plenty to learn myself. And woohoo! Let's do this one more. Guys, I've got another trolley load here full. Cooking with Aldi, the one family, one supermarket. I guess this is ingredients that can all be bought at Aldi. Yum, that looks nice. Banana bread with lashings of cream and honey. Oh, guys, I cooked banana bread in the slow cooker last night. I've made it a couple of times now. One of the guys who works with Tom, he makes it. He gave me the recipe. And it's delicious, but I can't quite get my cooking temperature right in the slow cooker, and I'm just kind of burning around the edges. The soft of it, it's either too soft in the middle, so I'm cooking it for too long, and then the edges get a bit hard. So I haven't quite nailed the banana bread in the slow cooker. The recipe is delicious, it tastes delicious, but I haven't got the temperature or the time cooking right yet. So when I get that right, I might share it with you. Okay, let's take these books over to that shelf now, and fingers crossed, we're full. Now, I wouldn't normally waste my time doing what I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it for the point of the video. I'm going to count these books so we can see how many I've just photographed in that time, taking into account that I was also talking, and you know, I think that does probably slow me down a little bit. 84 books are on this shelf. So the back rows are full, and like I said, I don't really like having 3 rows. Sometimes I'll do it so it's just a small one. But let's just do it like this. So 84, that way I can just easily slide, like if I need to look in the middle one when I'm picking the book. It's much easier. If there's 3 and they're stacked full, it's like really hard to see if I'm looking for a back one. So I try and keep it to 2 like that. So I'm pretty much full now for this. So 84, could probably fit another one there, make it an even 85, but I'm not going to bother. 84. If I'm doing 10 listings a day, that's 8 days of listing and a bit. If I'm doing 12 listings, it's probably like, what, 7 days worth of listings. So I'm trying to get a month's worth of listings. So I need to fill 4 shelves today of photos, guys. I need to do this 4 times over. So there's quite a few lower end books in here. So I need to be photographing some higher end stuff as well. So I would like to get like a whole row of bundles as well. Obviously I won't fit 84 bundles down on a shelf. So the single individual books I can pack up like that. It's nearly 1 o'clock. I am going to go get something to eat and a drink. I need like a break from doing that. That was 1 shelf. I feel happy with that. I've got another few to go. So I'll go have a quick break, 15-20 minutes, and then I will come and restock this table with books from the bags and around that I want to photograph for the next bench. And then same thing, just keep doing the same thing, stay in the same mode, right? My whole day is set aside today to do this photography. So just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so I am back for lunch. Now, one of the biggest tips I can give you is when you go for lunch and you come back, you've got to try not to get distracted. You've got to stay in this mode. The worst thing you could do is like sit down. Like I can't go and sit down at a computer or I'll get distracted by messages or reading YouTube comments or doing something on eBay. I'll get distracted and then I will lose the momentum of doing the photography. Even going to lunch sometimes, you have to be careful. Sometimes when I'm in the flow, like I just need to stay in the flow. But there's other times where I go, no, this is going to be a long day. You need to take a rest, you need to have a drink, you need to have something good to eat so that, you know, you can keep up the momentum and the focus. Okay, so I've already got my piles stacked up here, ready to photograph. I've got 3 piles down there on the bench that I've pulled from the floor on the other side of the packing bench. So rather than on the table this time, I've pulled those books out because they're all similar sizes. They're kind of large, but also medium. So anyway, I'm going to do another shelf with all of those. So I was photographing before on shelf E3. So now I'm going to change my post-it note here. I'm going to throw that one out. I'm going to write another, what's it called? Post-it note. And I'm going to write it as E4. And then I'm just going to start that same process going that I was doing in that other lot. It's just bam, bam, bam. Okay, so I think I might finish this video off because all I'm going to keep doing is the same photos and there's probably only so many photos that you want to see me do. My table's nearly empty. My stacks are getting smaller down there. I'll be able to use the table to start sorting some bundles from the bags because there's books in the bags that need to be bundled, but there's possibly like some in one bag and some in the next bag, and I can't 100% remember what I bought. So I need to kind of lay them out there to make sure I have complete bundles that I've bought with the intention to bundling. So I'll make you another video that is on the bundles. So make sure you come back, keep checking my channel for that. It'll be another couple videos away. And I'm going to finish this off now. I'm just going to keep photographing until we go to dinner. I think I've got a lot to do, and I think we're going to Thai for dinner, but I think what I might do is after we've eaten dinner, I might even come back here for another hour or so and just get another couple of shelves done. I think I would prefer to do that than go home. I'm not actually tired. So I'll update you as I go over the next couple of vlogs. I'll show you where I'm up to after I've finished filling them with all the books, got everything off the floor, hopefully, and back to a spotless, clean warehouse. The intention is not to have a messy warehouse like this. It's keep on top of it. And if I can just be sourcing enough going forward for the future month, that would be ideal. Last month, like in June, 2 big book fairs. So there was 2 big opportunities for me to source. Coming into July, I can't think of one book fair that we've got going. So it might be harder for me to get inventory over the next month. So it might be good that I might have a little bit of excess here rather than I don't have to source as much in July. But I don't know, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you for watching. I've really quite enjoyed making this video. If you've liked watching it, please, and you've got to the end, because this is probably a long vlog. If you've got to the end, you've watched all of this video, please drop me something down below in the comment section and tell me if you liked this, because I liked doing the chit chat. I just like to, I feel like I'm talking to all my friends, and I like that. I like talking as I'm doing things. Right, I am off. I need another drink of water. I feel like I'm losing my voice, And thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something today. Thanks, bye.